All right, thank you everyone for being here. We're going to call to order the special called meeting on March 30th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here at the Woodford County Central Office. Roll call, we have all board members here and in person. And if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I know we have a lot of middle school students here, so if you wouldn't mind leading us in the pledge. Thank you. Just wanted to get you warmed up before your performance here in a little bit. All right. Well, we're going to start off tonight with some recognitions. So I'm going to call up Miss Bailey.
Okay, we have 4 recognitions tonight, and they are each wonderful. I'm excited. So, board, don't we? Yeah, so I'm going to invite the board to come stand here in the center. I'll read through these recognitions one at a time, and when you hear your name, you will come up and get your certificate and shake the board's hand, and then we'll get a group photo, okay? Okay, up first, we have a Woodford County High School student, Carlos Marin Melendez. Woodford County Public Schools is proud to honor Carlos Marin Melendez with the Superintendent's Hive Award for harvesting innovation, vision, and excellence. He was nominated multiple times by those who have witnessed his impact firsthand. Carlos is a shining example of what it means to lead with heart and purpose. As a dedicated member of the Principal Advisory Committee and an English learner peer tutor, Carlos has become a fearless advocate for our Spanish-speaking students. He consistently goes above and beyond his required duties, ensuring that every student has a voice and the support they need to succeed. His vision for a more inclusive school community is matched only by his innovation and how he helps his peers navigate their educational journeys. Carlos' excellence extends far beyond the classroom. Despite facing significant medical challenges, he has shown incredible perseverance, maintaining a rigorous schedule of dual credit courses while balancing athletics and a part-time job. His ability to remain an active, positive force in the community while managing these responsibilities is nothing short of inspiring. Carlos, thank you for your resilience, your advocacy, and for being such an integral part of the Woodford County family. You truly embody the spirit of Hive. Next up, we have Miss Paula Everhart. We're moving from student leadership to the heart of our community partnership. True community isn't just about where you live, it's about how you show up for one another. For over a decade, Paula Everhart has shown up for Woodford County Public Schools in ways that words can hardly capture. Tonight, we recognize Paula with the Superintendent's Hive Award for harnessing innovation, vision, and excellence. For the past 10 to 12 years, Paula has been a quiet force of nature behind the scenes. Whether she is partnering with our staff or supporting our students, her commitment has never wavered. Her vision for a supported student body and her innovative approach to community partnership have left an indelible mark on our district. Paula, thank you for your decade of dedication and for your heart for every child in your care. Next, we have Miss Rebecca Gooslin. Innovation and education isn't just about new ideas. It's about having the vision to bring them to life for every single student. Our next honoree, Rebecca Gooslin, is a master of doing exactly that. As the equity team lead at Huntertown, Rebecca serves as an empathetic communicator, ensuring that our schools are places where every student feels seen, valued, and heard. Rebecca's visionary approach to learning is perhaps best captured by the 5th grade Cake Wars project-based learning event, which is so unique. What started as a classroom activity has become a model of innovation shared with the Kentucky Department of Education and districts across the state, proving that Rebecca's excellence has a reach far beyond our county lines. Beyond the curriculum, Rebecca is a responsible contributor to our community. From leading the House of Reverse charity drive for homeless veterans to organizing the Trick or Trot fundraiser for the 5th grade DC trip, she is constantly modeling stewardship for her students. Whether she is beautifying the Huntertown Community Interpretive Park or mentoring her peers, Rebecca represents the very best of our school family. Rebecca, thank you for your tireless work to connect people, inspire purpose, and truly unite the Hive. Next, Miss Lori Clayton. Our final honoree of the evening is a face that may look familiar to many of you. Just last month, we recognized her as part of our incredible snowstorm relief team. But tonight, we are honoring the magic touch she brings to our halls every single day. Please join me in celebrating Miss Lori Clayton. Lori joined us just 6 months ago, and in that short time, she has completely transformed the feel of our building. She didn't just step into her role, she jumped in with a vision to elevate our environment to a higher standard. Lori has a gift for seeing the details that others might overlook, from meticulously scrubbing windows and their blinds to ensuring every door and knob is polished and pristine. Her work is the very definition of excellence. Beyond her daily upkeep, Lori is constantly seeking out new areas to refresh and revitalize, treating our school with a kind of care and pride usually reserved for one's own home. Because of her efforts, our hallways, stairwells, and offices feel brighter, fresher, and more welcoming for every student and staff member who walks through them. But it isn't just her skill that makes her a standout. It's her spirit. Whether she is in the zone, humming a tune while she works, or stopping to offer a kind word and an uplifting perspective, Lori is a true professional. She has turned the role of custodian into a masterclass in stewardship. Lori, thank you for your drive, your standards, and for being such a blessing to our Woodford County Public Schools family. You truly make the Hive shine.
Thank you again to all of our honorees tonight. Next, we are going to move into our superintendent's remarks. So, Dr. Jones, I'll let you get your presentation pulled up there.
Well, good evening. As you can see from our presentations, we truly have an incredible school system, and I would venture to say that's because of the incredible students we have, the incredible staff we have, but also our families and our community. And some of my remarks tonight will revolve around those themes. So again, our theme this year is Unite the Hive. All voices are united in building the next generation of excellence in Woodford County. My special shout outs this month are to the Woodford Educational Endowment Foundation. They are incredible partners of Woodford County Public Schools, and they do such an incredible job of supporting students in being able to have multiple opportunities in the arts and in other areas. And I just wanted to thank them specifically for that, but also for their sponsorship of the choir that went to New York City. They sponsored for every student on that trip to be able to see a Broadway show. And that was very special to those students. So I want to thank them for their partnership. I also want to thank our Woodford County Foundation, who also supported, they support so many things every single day in our district, and so does WEEF. But specifically, I also want to thank community partners, Mayor Laura Dake, Lyles Taylor, William Downey, Larry Blackford, Chantel Bingham, James Kay, Kelly Carl, Ann Miller, and Lisa Johnson for specific donations to a cause that came up the last couple of weeks that was very important, and I just really appreciate them and their donations and their partnership. I also want to give a shout out to, we had a senior student who wanted to have the entire school student body at the high school honor two of our students who are graduating, and it was very special. So the entire school, she organized the entire school to be able to do a send-off for these two students. And then I also wanted to recognize some of our boys basketball members who have coached the Special Olympics basketball, the team, the unified team with several of our students. And I just think, you know, it just shows exactly why we are so special and really why we are just an incredible school system. Just wanted to briefly go back to the budget timeline. So we are now in the, in April, we will receive a SEEK forecast from the state, the Kentucky Department of Education, telling us kind of what our state funding is going to look like for the next year. And so that will then lead us into final budget conversations or tentative budget conversations with the board in May, and also final staffing for our schools. And anything that we talk about with the budget is on the budget transparency page, and I just wanted to remind everyone of that. I also wanted to say that several people have said, we really think you need to take the budget roadshow to the community. And so we are planning to do that in May after the board approves the tentative budget, so that I can answer questions from our community members as well. And last, our new superintendent training this month focused on educational law and finance, and I was able to learn quite a bit about that as a new superintendent from both my mentor, coaching, and then sessions at the Educational Law and Finance Conference. So, thank you all.
Thank you. And next we'll move into our good news report. And Ms. McCowan, I'll start over with you.
Thank you. I just wanted to share that on Tuesday, April the 14th at 5:40 p.m. at the WCHS baseball field, there's an event called Bases for Books. So elementary students can run the bases before the game and they will receive a free book. And all of the elementary students will receive free admission to the game, so I'm sure the weather will be great. If anybody is not doing anything on Tuesday, April the 14th, take your kids to the baseball game and let them run off some energy and get a free book. Thank you.
Mr. Wilson?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I don't know who organized the recognitions this evening, but they were powerful, powerful. And that was such a great way to start. It was. I'd like to, on my good news report, I'd like to share the March 12th issue of the Woodford Sun. The lead story is WCHS students stage walkout to protest ICE in Woodford County. I'm not getting involved with what they were protesting, but I do want to congratulate them on having the courage and the conviction to stand up and tell us and everyone how they felt about the situation. I grew up in a time where demonstrations happened all the time. And I understand it takes courage to do that, to commit to a cause, and especially in our world today where everything is a 50-50 issue. You know, when you say something, 50% of the people are going to think you're wrong. But yet these 100 students did it. They said how they felt, and I think that was wonderful on their part. I'd also like to include in the good news the work that our administration did at the high school in helping to organize this and to ensure everyone was secure and everything was done properly. The next thing I'd like to do to recognize is I'd like to recognize Lena Clayton, who wrote the article in the paper about the event. Bob writes very good too, but Lena really writes good. And if you read further in the paper, the journalism class and the Woodford Sun are working together to help our students get into the newspaper. And I've seen several articles that they have written, and it's well done. So I'll conclude by saying the 100 or so students, well done, students.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Dr. Gould?
So I had the privilege of being a parent chaperone for the FCCLA state conference this past week. I also was able to see many of our Woodford County students receive awards in their STAR events at the state level and get bids to nationals. And I just want to say we have amazing students in both of the middle school and the high school that were there competing, networking, engaging in different career building opportunities, really just having just an awesome experience overall. So I just want to say congratulations to all the STAR winners and all the people that participated. Shout out to the middle school. All of their competitors advanced to the national championship, earning first or second place in each of their categories. So that's pretty phenomenal that every one of them moved forward. And special shout out to Miss Olivia Wright, who is the sponsor for FCCLA there, but also congratulations to all of our high school students that advanced to the national competition at Washington, D.C. So I really encourage anyone who is not involved with a CTE-related organization to get involved. The belonging and connection that these young people felt across the state was just phenomenal. So we have just a showing of just how wonderful our Woodford County students truly are, how smart they are, how considerate and caring they are, and how they take those opportunities to network and get involved is just so very important. So I just want to share. that experience. So it was a privilege to be a parent chaperone in those things at that event.
Thank you. Ms. Springate?
I just wanted to share that April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and so we'll be seeing the pinwheels around the county and the state, and also the little blue ribbons. And Wednesday, April the 1st, people will be wearing their blue. So hopefully that'll bring attention, and we can all find ways to be helpful and supportive of our children and our families.
Thank you. And my good news is actually connected to our presentation tonight, but I got the opportunity to go see Newsies this weekend. It was fantastic. Y'all did an amazing job. Thank you for that and about what you're going to share. I also got an opportunity to go see Willy Wonka's performance at Simmons Elementary. And so just a huge shout out to all of our schools, theater, music departments, the amount of work that goes into those from the students and the teachers, directors, student directors, sound, stage crew. Everybody puts so much into these, and they come out fantastic. So just wanted to give a huge thank you for that. All right, and that was my transition into our next piece, which is our Woodford County Middle School Newsies performance.
Hi everyone, I promise I will be very brief. My name is Micah Garing and I am the choir and theater director at the middle school, and I get to work with these amazing kiddos every day. We did just close Newsies yesterday, so this was kind of one little extra Easter egg we got to do, and I thought it would be fun if we at least wore costumes. We're gonna do a number from the show called Seize the Day. And if you're not familiar with Newsies, it's great. Check it out. But the premises is these kids on the streets of New York, they stand up for themselves and they speak up for what they believe in. And as a result of doing so, people listen and a change actually happens. So that's kind of the overarching theme that we've been discussing during rehearsals. That and also what a newspaper is, because none of these children have ever held a newspaper. So yes, we're gonna do a little dialogue, a little scene, a little dancing. So enjoy this quick little excerpt.
my God. Thank you all so much. One more round of applause for them. That was fantastic. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. Nice job on the backflips, too. That was impressive. Yeah, I don't know. That's your turn. Give everybody a minute to head out. And whenever you're getting set up, we'll open it up for the Woodford County Middle School presentation. Is that starting yet? I think we are part of the presentation. Yeah. Perfect.
Board, if you didn't want to play and
Okay, I got it. Okay. So while she's setting up, I am Brittany Collins. I am assistant academic team coach at the middle school, and the one handing out the buzzers is Allison Westcott. She's the head coach. And for the past 3 years, we have had the wonderful opportunity of taking our quick recall team to state. So we had thought it would be fun to do quick recall the academic team against the board. And some of the board members are finding out right now that that's what we're doing. So I'm going to go over just some of the quick rules. Mr. Brickler, you are captain. Okay. Sammy, you already know you're captain. The way it's going to work is it's either going to be a toss-up or a bonus. Okay. If you buzz in on a toss-up and you get it right, your team gets a bonus. You get to talk to your team, which means Ms. McCown, you may need to move at some point.
Or just be loud.
Or just be loud so they can hear you. And then if you get the bonus correct, that's an extra point for you. People are already buzzing. Cool. The buzzer will go off up here, and we'll say either board and their name or Woodford and their name. They're in here as Woodford and WCMS. I will be the moderator because I'm the moderator at practice. So I will say toss up and then a number. Then I'll read the question. Please wait until you are called upon to answer. And I'll let...
So we're gonna do a buzzer check, but we know Sherry's works, okay?
We know Sherry.
Board Adam, buzz. Just hit your little button.
Yeah.
Yes. Board KT, if you would buzz. Board Sherry. And board Sarah.
Cool.
Woodford Adrian. Woodford Sammy.
Oh,
Are you clicking?
he is clicking.
Try it again.
It's that funky buzzer that
Try it
works
again.
sometimes. There it goes.
Oh, that's Rivers. Swap with
So
Rivers.
swap with River. Oh, I'll also say that while we're up here, River did also place to go to state for math at the written assessment.
Oh, good. So you have a ringer on your team. Awesome. Yeah.
Well, he did finish, I think, 39th out of probably, what, 120?
Oh, wow.
at
Nice
least.
job.
So, yeah, River's our math person, if you can't tell. And then we have Adrian, he does quick recall, Sammy does quick recall, and Claire does quick recall, and she's our arts and humanities person. So, these questions are typically 3 sentences long, so they take a second to be read. You can buzz in at any moment as long as you are recognized first. Okay? All right. I got to get my official voice going on, so. You can plug it right there. There. Thank you. All right. Toss-up 1. This American author famously gave lectures around the world, including a world tour made to pay off debts he accumulated from failed investments. He co-wrote The Gilded Age, a satirical novel about post-Civil War America, with Charles Dudley Warner. What American author wrote The Tragedy of Pudd'nhead Wilson?
Board Sarah.
Faulkner.
Incorrect.
That's the only one
Woodford Claire.
Hawthorne.
Incorrect. It was Mark Twain. Toss up 2. Hawaii served as the principal setting and filming location for this 2025 film.
Board KT.
Incorrect. As of September 1st, 2025, this Disney release has grossed $1 billion since its May 22nd, 2025 release. Name the live-action Disney remake that tells the story of Experiment 626 and his adopted.
Woodford Sammy.
Correct.
Correct.
Bonus for Woodford. This musical exercise is typically done with arpeggios and cadences for warm-up. Types include pentatonic, chromatic, major, and minor. What is the name? It's a bonus.
You can't buzz.
What is the name for a series of notes ordered by pitch?
Scales.
Correct. I forgot to say that on bonuses, you don't buzz. Toss up 4. This simple element is odorless, tasteless, highly flammable.
Board Sarah.
Incorrect. And is the most abundant element in the universe. It usually,
Woodford Sammy.
No answer.
it was hydrogen. Toss up 5. 33 is the product of 2 prime numbers. How many numbers smaller than 33 are co-prime with the number 33? Oh, are you buzzing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The time was out, sorry.
So it was 20. Toss up 6. The prime factorization for 360 is 2 cubed times 3 squared times 5. Given this information, you can find how many factors the number 360 has. How many factors does the number 360 have?
Woodford River.
17.
Incorrect. River got it wrong.
Board Sherry.
24. Toss up 7. This book is set in both 2199 and 1999. In it, Ridge Savio travels from the future and meets Michael Rosario. Name the 2025 Newbery Medal winner by Aaron and Trada Kelly.
Time.
It's the first state of being. Toss up 8. Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Chicago are all located along the shores of this Great Lake. It's southeastern and
Woodford Claire.
Michigan.
correct. Bonus 9. This vector. This vector quantity is constant for c in a vacuum. Changes in this quantity define acceleration, and its English unit can be miles per hour. What is the change in displacement over time measured in SI units of meters per second?
I designate Adrian.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Captain?
Board, you can talk. No, we can't
No.
repeat the question. No answer?
It's velocity.
Oh, that makes sense.
Toss up 10. This man was the court painter to King Philip IV of Spain and Portugal. Centuries later, artists like Picasso and Dali would pay homage to his work. Who is this painter of Las Meninas?
Woodford Claire.
Degas.
Incorrect.
Board Adam.
Diego Velázquez. Toss up 11. The forced bill passed by the U.S. Congress in 1833 helped to resolve this conflict. Former Vice President John C. Calhoun's opposition to the tariff of 1828 and the tariff of 1832 drove this conflict. What conflict arose when the South Carolina legislature declared federal tariffs null, void, and non-binding within the state's borders? Oh, no one knows it.
Time.
It's the nullification crisis. Toss up 12. This religious leader's real name was Siddhartha Gautama. His
Woodford Claire.
Buddhism.
incorrect. His eponymous religions believe in the
Board Sherry.
it is
It is
Buddha.
Buddha.
Bonus for the board.
That's got the worst one.
13. This organ is also called the pinna, and its unique shape attempts to funnel waves to improve its function. This organ in mammals contains 3 ossicles called the hammer, anvil, and stirrup, as well as a vibrating tympanic membrane. Wow. Name this sensory organ that is responsible for equilibrium and hearing.
You just tell Adam.
I wonder if they'll know.
Correct.
Correct. Ford 2, Woodford 3.
Toss up 14. River, I'm coming to you. A linear function has the form f of x equals mx plus b. If m equals 3 and b equals -2, what is f of 4?
Woodford River.
10, yes. And to answer your question, it was the Kentucky Association for Academic Competition. And these are actually questions from District Round 3, which is the lowest competition we do.
Way to rub it in. Thank you.
Okay, bonus 15. Verbs are classified in numerous ways depending on how they are used in a sentence. They may be transitive or intransitive. What specific type of intransitive verb is used to connect the subject with a word or phrase in the predicate?
I designate Adrian. Linking verb.
Correct. Linking verb. Toss up 16. This quadrilateral has exactly 1 pair of parallel sides. It can be isosceles.
Woodford River.
Trapezoid.
Correct. Bonus 17. This list of statements found in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5 is part of a larger speech given on a mountainside. The speech by Jesus Christ is about blessings and the rewards of suffering. What name is given to this series of statements, which each begin, "Blessed are the," delivered during the Sermon on the Mount?
I don't remember.
Well,
No. I don't 3 seconds.
oh, no answer.
Yep. Correct. That's what we call a bounce back. Toss up 18. According to the Venerable Bede, these German invaders established the kingdoms of Essex, Wessex, and Sussex. Charlemagne battled with these people for 32 years.
Ford Sarah.
Incorrect. For 32 years in a namesake war, ending with their incorporation into the Frankish Empire. What people invaded Britain along with the Jews and the Angles? And
Woodford Clare.
correct. Bonus 19. A major one of these events occurred when the Chicxulub crater formed, and that is referred to as the KT one of these. Habitat destruction is the #1 cause of these types of events, but other factors such as overharvesting may also result in these. What term refers to the complete loss of a species through the death of all its individuals?
Okay. I designate Adrian. Extension.
Correct. Toss up 20. Like the harmonica, this German instrument is a type of free reed aerophone. The right-hand side has a small keyboard, while the left-hand side,
Ford Sarah.
correct.
I knew that one too.
Bonus 21. This international agreement replaced a papal bull issued by Pope Alexander VI that set up a line of demarcation in 1493. In 1494, the final treaty divided the New World with a meridian line halfway between the Cape Verde Islands and Hispaniola. What treaty's primary goal was to settle conflicts between Spain and Portugal over newly discovered lands?
You may tell.
Treaty of is in parentheses, so
So it's part of
it's
it.
partial. It's not a buzz, it's a bonus. Incorrect.
I designate River. Treaty of Spain and Portugal.
Incorrect. It is the Treaty of Tordesillas, because everyone knew that. Toss up 22. A triangle has a base of 15 centimeters. The height of the triangle is 20 centimeters in square centimeters.
Woodford River.
150.
Correct. Bonus 23. Oh my goodness, if you get this wrong. Another name for this instrument is the potato flute. Usually egg-shaped, it is often made of clay. What is the small woodwind with 8 finger holes traditionally used in Italian carnivals?
Ocarina.
Correct.
I'm gonna time out and I'm gonna sub.
Okay, because Noah's been over there dying.
Noah, go for River. I'm taking River out. Griffin, come on.
River. Oh, and we're putting Griffin in too. Cool. It takes a second for us to change the name. You put in Griffin, huh? No.
No, I didn't.
But we do have 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in this half.
All right,
Okay.
hurry up, Sammy, come on.
Sammy?
It's so I can do math.
So you
Do
can,
math.
okay.
All right.
All right. Toss up 24. In this work, Billy Weaver is a young man just arrived in Bath to take on a new job. He is looking for somewhere to stay and comes across what appears to be a cozy bed and breakfast. Things don't turn out well for Billy, however, because the proprietor of the bed and breakfast has a penchant for taxidermy. In what short story by Roald Dahl?
Woodford, Sammy.
Night person.
Incorrect.
Board, Sarah. Incorrect.
The Landlady. That is a story by Roald Dahl, yes. You have the author right. Toss up 25. These large weather systems march across the world bringing rain and or snow except in the equatorial belt. Their masses of air move around a central point in a counterclockwise motion and are steered
Woodford, Sammy.
Typhoon.
incorrect. And are steered by the jet stream. Name these weather systems that are noted as a capital blue L on weather maps.
Board, Sarah.
Correct. Because it had pressure system in parentheses, so it wasn't required. Bonus 26. This is the meaning of the Greek root found in words like agnostic and recognize. You also see it in terms such as diagnosis, prognosis, and incognito. What is the meaning of the Greek word gnost? It's G-N-O-S-T, by the way. It is knowledge. Toss up 27. These structures in a fungus facilitate the creation of spores for reproduction in the main structure of...
Board, Adam.
Incorrect. Reproduction and the main structure of growth for the organism. They are composed of elongated cells which branch out and provide the vast network for nutrient and water absorption. What are these thread-like filaments that make up a fungus?
Woodford, Sammy.
Spores.
Incorrect, it's hyphae.
Match time.
Match time.
Final score, Board 6, Woodford County Middle School 10.
We didn't even have
And is it Claire's time now? Is Claire presenting?
Do you want Claire to go now or?
Okay.
All right. And I don't think that we're going to No, we're not.
Okay. Do you want this to be 25 minutes?
No, I don't.
Music trivia.
All right. Yeah. All right.
All right. So thanks for entertaining us with the quick recall match. I just wanted to give a big shout out to Miss Westcott, Miss Collins, and our students for coming out tonight. And also, the Newsies is so good. So thank you, Miss Gehring, for all that you've poured into our students. I think you're still back there. And I just thank you to her and thank you to our students for coming to share their talents with us. So back in the fall, I shared our 3 big rocks with you all. So they were Unity, All Kids Thrive, we're going to get there, and Future Ready. So tonight I just wanted to show you all about how those have looked this year as we've gone through the year, and then I have a couple of students who are going to share their experiences with us. So, while the two experiences that you saw tonight, the Newsies and the academic team, they look very different, they're all building the same things. So they're building confidence, they're building teamwork, they're building communication, and they're building resilience. So these skills are highlighted in our Portrait of a Learner, and a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight is also the highlighting that work. And so all of that is also helping to prepare our students for life after middle school. So. I've said it before that middle school years are really hard. Middle school is challenging for the kids, and so something that is really important to me is that our students feel like they belong when they're in our building, and so that led us to selecting Unity as a big rock. For us this school year. So we want to make sure that our students feel connected in our building. So I have talked with you all about our BAR model before. So through BAR, intentional team structures, and initiative like Earn Your Stripes, we are working to build a sense of community around our school. So our behavior data continues to show that this model is working, with our behavior referrals decreasing over 50% since we've implemented this model. And then some of my favorite things that we've done this year, you've got some pictures, are we have started recognizing Students of the Month, and that's been really fun to do with our teachers and to recognize the students. And then we're having stripes competitions. And middle schoolers really love free seating at lunch, so they're working hard to earn their stripes. So, and then two pictures on here that you'll see, two of our teachers, some of our math teachers teamed up and had our 8th graders teaching our 6th graders math. They pulled them during class, brought them into the cafeteria, and they were teaching, and it was awesome to see. Yes?
Could we please have the tutoring before the next game against the
We'll work on that. All right, so All Kids Thrive is our next big rock, and this is focusing on growth and opportunities for all of our students. So we are extremely proud to have grown to a green school on the KSA, and we also had positive gains in the school climate and safety survey. So this rock is also all about experiences, and I personally think that our teachers do an amazing job of providing experiences and opportunities for our kids. From class projects like the Millennial Fair, I think that those pictures, you all have seen those pictures before. We've had the Millennial Fair, we've had the Pathway Fair for our 8th graders, we had the Career Fair. I recently sat in on Shark Tank for some of our 6th graders. That was really fun. And then some of our 7th graders have an opportunity, they're writing children's books right now. And that's just been really great. So we have that, and then we have the success of our athletic teams that have been doing awesome this year. And then recently, our band and our orchestra earned distinguished ratings at their state assessments. So, and then like Ms. Collins said, our academic team has made it to state for 3 years in a row. So that's really awesome. All right, and then the next slide is Future Ready. So with this one, we are really focusing on ensuring that students are just developing skills that's going to help them in the real world. So our teachers are, again, creating opportunities for students to engage in just authentic learning experiences. So we are doing things like student-led conferences that are coming up soon. We had students present a case in the courthouse, which was a great trip for them. We have students taking on leadership roles through FCCLA and through FFA, and we recently had students who piloted their defenses of learning, and that was great to see them just own that piece of learning. So those are all skills that we want them to have in their future. So right now I have just a couple of students who are gonna share their experience with us. I don't know who wants to go first. Go Claire Jones. All right.
Okay, I'll try not to ramble super long. I wrote it down. Being a resilient learner is a concept that all members of the team need to understand and comply with. When you play on this team sport, you need to be able to believe that your answer matters and that if you aren't correct, that's okay. You need to pick yourself up and understand that making a mistake is part of being human. If we gave up the first time we lost, we never would have made it to state 3 years in a row. Academic team teaches vital life lessons, teamwork, resilience, patience, responsibility, and the vital importance of studying, public speaking, and much more. To close, academic team has taught me so much about myself and other people. It's been a joy to spend 3 years on the team.
Those are really funny pictures, guys. Hi, I'm Annie Baba Maradi. I have a speech. I played Crutchy. I know it's super hard to tell. It's a really hard character name to remember, guys. But I've been doing theater and choir with Miss Gehring, or Mama G. We call her Mama G, for 3 years now, since I was an itty bitty 6th grader. And the arts are like my biggest thing now. I do so much theater. The arts have always benefited students in so many ways. Not only does theater bring students out of their comfort zones, but it also improves their self-worth. I've known so many actors, they're here tonight, that have found that theater made themselves feel really good. It makes you so happy. Theater helps people my age realize that making one mistake is not gonna ruin your life. I think that theater makes us responsible contributors by making us work together to have a great show. You should see the magic of Tech Week. It is insane, guys. Miss Gehring can vouch for that. I also think theater can make a better reflective collaborator because it teaches students how to collaborate and add their own little twist in the show, and it makes it so much better overall. Like, we all had little things that we did. It was so cool. And theater is a place where anyone who hasn't found their place in sports or activities can find a group. Thank you for your time, guys. Hope y'all are excited that we performed, because we were awesome.
All right, so as we talk about unity, all kids thriving, and students being future ready, it all comes back to this: helping students find where they belong, giving them opportunities to grow, and preparing them for what comes next. So as I wrap up, I just have to invite you guys to the Amazing Shake. We are, or in the fall, I guess you heard from Gavin Burns, who was one of our winners of the Amazing Shake last year. We are kicking off the Amazing Shake Round 1, the Gauntlet, tomorrow at the middle school in the library. We're starting at 8:30, and we would love to see you guys there. So, thanks.
Anybody? No.
I just want to say I love the middle school.
Yep, same here. Miss Preston, thank you for everything.
Yes, thank you,
for your
thank you.
staff, the support. You have 2 middle school parents up here,
Yes.
and it means a lot for everything that you do.
Absolutely.
All right. Next, we're going to move into the new high school project update with Dr. Rayburn.
Good evening, board. Tonight we are going to talk briefly about the high school project that is coming to an end. This is your March 2026 update. I'm going to show you tonight the parking lot expansion that we have been working on, which should be open and ready to go by coming back from spring break. So students will be able to park there and such. But before we get into there, here is your budget for your 2 projects with a remaining total of $700,000. Between those 2, again, the project number 2 is your field. Main project is the building. Total, those 2 projects together have remaining balance of $700,000. Out of that remaining balance came the voted on items from the last board meeting, so that is why you see a reduction in your total there. This is from the student parking lot into the new expansion, where we have a few pictures of that. So this is closer to the center walkway that goes down between the 2 parking lots in the middle. There's a stop sign there, and if you look beyond the stop sign down here at the bottom is the opening where they will go into or out of that parking lot area. And then here is a side view of it. There's also an entrance right here. The cutoff is there to allow for parking into into there. So they're pretty much getting close to being finished with that. So they should be done, like I said, by the time they come back from spring break. They've actually moved really fast on this because we've had some beautiful weather. So that does help with that. And then this is just another view there. The next thing that we have to do is stripe it. So that will be striped. We're going to get them started, and then the high school will continue that every year to restripe that for their project. The other thing that I'm going to update you on is our concession stand. If you remember, back in the winter time, there was a concession stand water leak that destroyed pretty much all of the drywall on the inside. This was at no cost to us. We did not pay for this to be replaced or repaired. And the company that put it in fixed their mistake. And so this is inside the concession stand and then inside the bathrooms. And these were both taken, all these pictures were taken today, so you can see that they're all up and working. We have just a few little check marks that we still have to do on check boxes to make those correct, with a few lights and stuff that the sensor got damaged. They're replacing that sensor. But other than that, they have, Mr. Green, our maintenance director, has worked tirelessly to get this back up in order and ready to go for the spring sports. And you can tell that the damage doesn't look like there was anything that ever happened there. And then this is the inner wall where all the pipes are in between the two restrooms. And you can tell up here at the top they have insulated it, and they did correct their mistake where the lines were actually supposed to be through a channel. The lines are now through that channel to allow for that. So that is all I have. Any questions for me tonight?
Can you remind me how many parking spots the new lot will accommodate?
They're estimating around 100.
Oh.
And we have a 70 wait list of 70 students right now. Absolutely. I will let Mr. Green know that 100%, because this, talk about somebody being hurt. Mr. Green was hurt when he walked into this building to see, because he's one of the first people that saw it, and like that's the pride that he has in this project in this county, and he saw it put back together.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Dr. Raber.
All right. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question, sorry. Oh, when are we closed out, when will we close out the project completely? Is it after we finish the striping?
Well, we'll close it out as soon as we're completely finished. We still have they were still working on some of the issues that they have with the mechanical stuff that's going on. They're still working through that. Again, that hasn't concluded yet, so
Okay.
we can't close out the project until that is done. And like I've said many times, that we don't start that warranty process until they have completed it. So they are actively working. There's weekly meetings that are still occurring on it. And they're getting closer, and then they find something that else is wrong, so they're actually fixing it. We're not paying for that.
So we don't anticipate any more money coming out of that fund, correct? Anticipating. I know you can't guarantee.
There's nothing anticipating on our end that we have we have any plans for that.
Okay, thank you.
And then I just wanted to just quickly follow up. So at the end of the project, you'll be bringing us documents. We'll see exactly how much was spent, how much the overages were, where the overages were, just kind of a holistic kind of picture, and then send documents to KDE that we, I guess, will have to do some revisions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we'll have to do a revised BG1 to make all of the numbers match what we actually paid to what Trace Creek says we actually paid. We'll make all those adjustments, then you'll approve that BG1, and then we can send that off. And once we send that off, then we close the project and it's done. Projects at this percentage, 1%, can take years to close because there's these little things that they have to do. So we're just kind of working through those little projects. But it doesn't impact the actual building and the usage of the building.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raber. Next, we're going to move into our curriculum instruction update with Mr. Escher.
One moment, trying here. Yes, sir.
As we are waiting for this, there we go. We recently, I've mentioned this several times over the course of the year because it has indeed taken all year to collect and put this together, is our accreditation process. So this is through Cognia. It used to be a 4-year cycle. After COVID, they increased that to 6 years, so we were due as a district. There's just a brief description of what that is. Last Thursday, I believe it was, we had a virtual presentation of myself, Dr. Jones, some members of the CNI team, and 2 board members here to go through that presentation. And essentially it is trends over that time. We don't look at the whole 6 years. We focused on the last 3 years, and you have to match up to 31 standards. Not only do you have to write narratives for each of those and do a lot of analysis, but also provide evidence for all those 31 standards. In addition, we are also going for CBE certification, which stands for competency-based education. So essentially our portrait work and how we bring that into the classroom, into our schools. So we are hopeful to receive that certification as well. We would be the first school district in Kentucky to achieve that. All signs look good from that, but we do not know the ultimate outcome of that, and I hope to be able to bring that full report to you. Actually, once received, I'll just email it out, just so a heads up of you receiving that. Anything to add from members that participated, or any questions?
I was just going to say it was a great presentation. The Cognia team asked really important questions about how everything happened, and as a board member and a parent, of seeing how Portrait of a Learner came to be, from getting staff buy-in, from getting everyone to include it within their instructional process, you know, because they did ask for feedback afterwards, and from me it was glowing remarks. So thank you for all the work that you and your teams put into it.
Thank you.
I also think that we're on the cutting edge. I've mentioned this before, and I just want to say kudos to the competence-based learning idea. I mean, that's going to follow through into your higher education capacities as well, because many of the accreditation standards that different majors and programs have to use are competency-based. So it definitely parallels into that next step in post-secondary learning.
Thank you. I look forward to the report and just suggestions on continuous improvement. And to that note, heard a couple things, as Mr. Brickley, you said, just students continuing to use the language when they're up here. In Ms. Bailey, as she read the description for, oh goodness, her name escapes me, our teacher this evening, help me out. Thank you, Dr. Gooslin, there we go, mentioned a lot of the portrait language there. And also mentioned, let me segue into this, that her work on the Huntertown equity team, but also our district equity team. So segue into this, we are renewing and rebranding. That is strategic there, and that we want to get away from that term just due to some legislation, things like that, but we want to continue the work, and we've since rebranded ourselves to Access and Advocacy Team, removing barriers, championing voices, and ensuring access to excellence for every student. So this is our draft logo. We continue to work on that. We have settled on that vision statement and the title. It has been some good work. We are a high functioning team right now. We've been at this since 2019, as I keep saying, but we have great membership, folks that really will speak their mind, have healthy debate, and really have some great ideas for advancing this work. So more to come in April and May as we do that renew and rebrand. Tried to do a better job with this team this year of looking at data, whether it be disaggregated achievement data. This past month we looked at survey data, and I heard Ms. Preston mention this about their school climate and safety survey. So this is taken by all 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders who are taking the assessment, as well as 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then 10th and 11th graders. So it's a pretty good representation of students. So one thing that we were proud of, and a lot plays into this, not only our focus on equity, but also programs like BAR, Stronger Connections, things that came out of the Stronger Connections grant really support this. So the question was, students from this school respect each other's differences in regard to gender, culture, race, religion, ability. Particularly at elementary, always at a high level. That's in the 90% of students that agree or strongly agree. So this doesn't take in, there is a neutral answer, But what we were most noticed here significantly is in our secondary schools of middle and high, where it was at 43%, increased to nearly 60% over 3 years' time. So I think that speaks loudly to a number of things. It's not just the equity team, but a number of things that we focused on to address this. Similar question, but adults from this school respect students' differences. Fortunate to see it's always been at a higher level, above 80%, but again, you see that incline, or increase, I should say, at middle and high school. So again, that it's oftentimes hard to find quantitative data on such qualitative work, I should say, but we pull it out when we can in terms of our enrollment numbers in those accelerated classes that I mentioned a couple months ago, and then the survey data. So it's working once again. So you always want to look at proof of it working. That's all I had to report on tonight. I'll take any questions you may
Mr.
have.
Astor, it's not a question, it's a comment. Could you go back to the logo, that slide?
Yes.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate and ensuring access to excellence for every student.
Mhm.
I know you believe that,
Mhm.
and I appreciate that, and I appreciate your leadership very much.
Sure. We have a number of folks that believe that. And
Yes.
I'll go back. That's what the portrait is all about too, because every student can be each and every one of those things.
Absolutely, and thank you very much.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I circle back real quick to a conversation we had? I guess, I can't remember, forgive me which month it was. I feel like these spring months have just, well, this year has just flown by. When we looked at the numbers for pass rates for our AP classes and our dual credit classes, have we gone back and addressed that at all? Or has there been any conversation around that with the high school about what we need as far as, again, to champion that access and advocacy work? Is there, what's the
I'm sorry, you said
missing
AP
link?
and?
The AP and dual credit, the passing rates for those two core areas. I just wondered if there was any review.
It's not so much the dual credit. Those were at very high rates. The AP, that is, yes, there has been conversation on that. That, we always go back to comparison data. Once again, it is hard to achieve that 3 or higher, and off the top of my head, no, I don't have that, but they're pretty comparable to national rates as far as AP passing rates. There is a wide variance in the classes and those assessments. That's the thing I can't speak to, but certainly we look at comparative data to see if we're way off the mark in a given area. So yes, the high school is asked to look at those and include those, any improvement planning they may have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Asher. All right, we do not have any public comment. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to accept notification of personnel matters?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to accept notification of payment of bills?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February board meetings?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to approve February financial report, treasurer's report?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan, and we'll invite Dr. Gribbins up to provide that report.
Good evening, board. So I have the financial updates for February as we're gonna go through here.
Welcome to your first presentation to the Woodford County Board. We appreciate you serving here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. So the monthly budget for February, you can kind of go through and see. The ones that I'm most wanted to speak about is on this slide. If you look at the total revenues compared to previous years, we're about a -2%. But the expenditures year-to-date compared to last year is about a -5. So if you look at those two, we're actually about 3% better year-to-date than we were last year. So that's very promising with some of the changes that's been put into effect, and that's kind of held the trend the last couple of months. So really excited to see that.
I do have a question. Do you want to do questions at the end or questions while we're
Go ahead.
here?
You can ask as we go.
So
Yeah.
on the last slide,
The last slide?
The previous one. that
Oh,
you
the
were on.
previous, very first slide? Okay,
the next slide that we were just talking about.
this one?
Yes. So when you have the 26 budget and the 26 actuals, are those year-to-date comparisons, or is it the?
Year-to-date comparison, so February this year to February last year.
Okay, so we're looking at
Apples to apples.
perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
Moving on. You can see the overall tax collection for the month of February. And then we can break it down. Next slide. This is from Munis. Totals year-to-date. And that is Fund 1 and 320, so it doesn't include Fund 2. And then this is broken out specific taxes, and you can see the dates that those were collected, whether it's penalties and interest, property tax, et cetera. 27, just over 27 million to date. Here's our special revenue funds.
Can I ask a question real quick about the tax revenues? Do you know how close we are to collecting? I know we get them every month, but do you know about how close we are to getting full payment from tax revenue?
It's not linear, but I would say at this point we're about 80%. I'd have to go back and really look
Sure,
at it. But
yeah, I don't know
as,
exact numbers.
Just looking at it, I'd say about 80%
Okay.
through what we expect to receive this year.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Our special funds and our district activity. Our school activity funds. Food service. And ETC, which we would really call out that we had a really promising, this was the first month in a while that revenues exceeded expenditures. So they've been doing a really great job over there and really watching the expenditures and controls.
Can you return to the food expenditures, food service? Okay. Am I reading this correctly that our expenditures are exceeding our revenue?
Correct. Yep. So expenditures to date, 1.579 with the revenue at 1.511. And there is discussion, Dr. Rayburn had discussed that we are looking at a proposal of raising the costs. So that will be coming up in those discussions to adjust those costs for next year.
Okay. I do have a question about that as far as, I know that food costs are rising, but I also know that our revenue that our families are facing are not equating to those costs that food costs are rising. So is there any grants that we have explored or anything to offset those funds, especially as we look at free lunch for Simmons as well as Safe Harbor? What are some opportunities that we can explore before we raise the cost of meals for our students? The other thing that I had a question about is, I know that there's a lot of extras, I guess is the best way to say it, that our cafeterias provide, and I was wondering if the benefit ratio to some of those, if those extras are playing into this in a positive direction or a negative direction in that sense too. I'm just trying to search of how to maybe equate those funds a little bit better, but I would really love to see any potential funding come from outside sources in some capacity other than our families, because I do think it's becoming an increased struggle. The other thing that I have been hearing from students in particular is that some of the quality of our food is not necessarily the same, so maybe exploring different vendors, or what can we maybe do to entice people to want to buy food versus eat school lunch, eat school breakfast versus maybe bring their lunch from home. And I think that the quality of the food, I think we do a really great variety or nothing against the people that are preparing these meals, because I think they do a very good job, but the vendors, if we can maybe explore different options to increase some of that may entice individuals to potentially, or maybe even more options at the elementary school level or something of that nature, because I know that we have additional options at the high school, but maybe following that model, just any way that we could explore not raising costs to our individual families.
Yep, there's like, yeah, I can cover. There's a couple things there. So options on funding right now, the really only options right now would be to dip into general funds, which we don't necessarily want to do. But we're watching a couple of legislation bills, specifically the one that talks about local grown Kentucky food. So if that does go through the passage, we know we got about a 2-week veto period. So once those are done, if that passes, what that would do is enable us to locally source food, and then we get a percentage back from that. So that will be one piece that would help. I think the second piece that we talked about that we start to see at the high school is by providing more options, you get more kind of quantity of students coming in. So if you can increase that, then that kind of helps bridge that gap of revenues to expenditures. So more participation is going to really shrink that. And I think that comes to the options that we see at the high school. So if you can kind of take that into the lower grades, middle school, if you can replicate that to some degree and increase participation, then that's going to decrease your gap as well. It could flip to a positive revenues.
And I know that Courtney does a great job of,
Yeah,
of what she does.
I just want to say that first, that we are mandated by local, federal, state laws and federal laws that require us to have certain types of food and certain,
Yes.
we have certain federal regulations that we have to do so that we can receive federal reimbursements related to food cost. Every family has the option and the ability to apply for fee waiver, and that's not just free, that's reduced pricing. So if they are meeting a threshold or have an issue, they can work with the food service director to have that as an option. And then we do have to raise prices. There is no way around it. We are going to have to raise prices. I'm sorry, but there is no way around it. We're not asking to raise prices by $100 or anything. That we have to stay within, and the state is going to force us to raise it if we don't raise it, because they have a formula that we have to make. So that's going to be part of our presentation when we have a food service presentation. But I also want to remind you that what you hear doesn't always mean that that's exactly the quality, and it could not necessarily be 100% true. We've actually put a survey out to all of our students, and we have about 400 or 500 students that have partaken of that to combat what you are reporting. So just so you know, like we are taking proactive measures, but we are not sustaining a low food quality or low quality of preparation.
Let me clarify. I'm not saying that the food quality is low. I'm saying the food quality is different. It seems like the sources, there has been some shifts in some of the sources that have come, the food has come from, and it seems like that is a differential thing. I don't think we're serving kids food that is not edible by any capacity, so I want to clarify that.
broccoli.
Well, maybe broccoli, maybe your vegetables, maybe your vegetables is choice.
Some of the vegetables.
But I do think that we have a threshold in our community of people that kind of are in the middle, right? So we have people that don't meet that free and reduced lunch threshold, and I think it's an amazing thing. It also is tied to our Title I fund. So the more people that fill out that free and reduced lunch and are able to qualify for that, we increase our Title I funding. So there's many reasons to fill that out. But I think that you're not, let's face it, and not to argue semantics, but the daily living wage that we're experiencing in our nation is not equating to the expenses that we're having, regardless of where you are. The cost, the percentages that you make at your job or whatever it may be does not make up the cost that we're spending. And we see that at our grocery stores, but we're also going to feel it here. And I understand that we can't pull money from our general fund because we are at capacity for that. But let's face it, our food is a basic need, and it is part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you don't meet those needs at the bottom, you're not going to meet those educational needs at the top. So I think that that is something that we really have to consider and be creative in ways to maybe increase our revenue and draw people into having hot lunches at school. There's a difference between your packed lunch and a hot lunch at school, and so I do really encourage you all to look at potential ways to work around that. So I'm very aware that we have federal mandates and guidelines for food service that we have to follow and meet, and I know that Courtney does a great job of having a creative menu that is also a Kentucky Proud menu. We're already doing those things that the legislation is proposing, but I really think that we need there's maybe potential for expanding and growth, and maybe polling our elementary school kids for what other options would bring you to the lunch table and purchase your food versus choosing to bring food from home might not be a bad thing. That's just my suggestion. But I would really like to see what we can do to not raise those costs at all if possible.
And
Oh, I'm sorry. I just
Go
have one quick thing. So for the meeting that's coming up, if we could have just some data about over the last maybe 5 years about the numbers, like what it has cost, what the expenses have been, what the reimbursement has been, and then how much of a general fund contribution we've had to use to cover that, and maybe just a little bit of history of when we were on the waiver, what that looked like. So maybe having some of that data would be helpful for us just to know if this is something that's really gone on and we're actually doing better this year. And then also, as part of that data, I would like for us to know over that same time frame how much money we are kind of utilizing to be able to kind of pay ourselves to kind of run programs and different things, or if we've used some of that money to buy stoves or refrigerators or other sorts of things. I think it would be very important for us to have that data so that we know if this is actually what the root causes might be, because that would help us be more creative, I think, in finding some solutions.
Yep, absolutely. And we have sent out the survey for the recommendations for like what types of meals would they want and prefer. So that has gone out, and Dr. Rayburn had just discussed. I think we're up to earlier today, 400 and plus responses so far. So that's really good. And yeah, I'll have the historical data. I have historical data just about on everything back to 2022 right now. So that's a lot. What I do is look at past data, look at trend lines and where we're progressing. And I think it is a good discussion to talk about inflation, because that's something that I want to talk about. And when we start to go to this next type of budget session, when we look at what were we spending on the kids 5 years ago, inflation adjusted to today, because I think that's important.
Agree.
Thank you.
Anything else, or did you have more on the, all right, does anybody else have any more questions on the treasurer's report? All right.
Yep, the last one was the ETC slide.
Yeah, I think, yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I want to thank you very much for an excellent report. You act like you've been here for a long time. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
I
thank you.
echo that too. Thank you, because I know Dr. Rayburn started putting these slides together for us, and it really helps, because what we had been getting was it's just hard to make it through. So one of the things that I shared with Dr. Jones is that when we have our budget meeting, our budget working session, some of those funds like the I think special revenue and the food service and all those things, just where I'm anxious to get an idea of if what we budgeted and what we anticipated in terms of revenue is holding. So,
Absolutely.
but thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your
Formatting
presentation.
definitely helps than looking at that Munis spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. All right. All those in favor of approving February financial report, treasurer's report?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to approve hardship applications?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. Any we won't do discussion on that, but all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to approve ETC 2026-2027 tuition increase?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. Any discussion or questions on this?
I think the presentation that we had earlier made it very clear. So.
Okay.
I mean, earlier meeting last month.
Right, last month, yep.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to approve student insurance option?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. Any discussion or questions?
This is for athletics, correct?
Well, we probably need to have a
All
discussion.
right, board.
and
So
then take an
what I
action.
would like to present to you tonight, we have Mr. John Roberts here from our insurance company, as well as an option for for you, but in the past few years, we have purchased the insurance for all students. This is above and beyond their current insurance. If they were to get hurt on property or anything along those lines, that we cover their injuries 100%. And one of the things that came up last year was related to, do we recommend to do it for all students, or do we recommend to do it for athletics? It's kind of a 50-50 around the state who's doing what, in an effort to save money. And looking at the participation here in just a few seconds, the recommendation we're going to recommend to the board tonight is that we approve the athletics only. In your packet, for the board packet that you all received this week, you received the different options here. And just so you know, like, this is the coverage that we are going for, the Plan 1. And this is the historical claims on our student insurance for the different years. And you can notice on the sides here that, again, this was all presented for you at the upload of the agenda, the different activities. And so anything outside of athletics was related to school activities, and everything else was related to athletics. And you can see breaking it down by sports. From when we first got it, we had a higher percentage of our school activities. And then as it's gone down, the usage has kind of, based off of the incident numbers, if you look at the incidences, they are lowering, which is a good thing. Kids aren't getting hurt at school as much. And so those are taking into play. 2025 is not a good, valuable option for us to review, because that number, there are still claims in process that could not be reported. So we want to stop at 2024. Did you have any, you want to come up here? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Does anybody? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, before you all vote, I just want to clarify, the superintendent's recommended action on this was to adopt Plan 1. I just want to clarify, Mr. Wilson, was that your motion, was to take the recommended action by the superintendent? Thank you.
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure it was clear. Thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up question? And you may not know the answer to this, and that's okay. What happens if someone gets hurt on school property and we don't have insurance, and they don't have insurance coverage either?
We step up and become primary.
But if we only take the athletics option, do we have an option to cover said injuries? Like if a kid falls off a slide or something?
Yeah.
So the liability insurance will kick in, so whatever. Okay. What about like if it's just like a freak accident, like something, liability covers anything that happens within the school. So what did the extra insurance cover?
This is, so let's say that my child is a student and they get hurt at school, sprain an ankle, something like that. If it happened at school, they can submit that through this policy and get assistance, help above their own insurance.
Okay.
To cover costs, any costs that their insurance doesn't.
So it's like a rider?
Yeah.
Okay. What if they don't have insurance and that happens?
If they don't have insurance and that happens, then again, we've got the liability insurance, but, you know, we haven't had a lot of claims for the school activities.
Okay.
Is the reason we were.
And the school activities would be taken out, correct?
Correct. All the athletics would be
Okay.
covered. It's about an $8,000 difference.
So if something happens like on a trip, like the New York trip or the FCCLA trip, what would happen then because it's not on school grounds? So would that still be,
So our liability insurance, would you like to weigh in on that as well?
I'm
Yeah.
happy to. if you
Yeah.
want to. So liability insurance kicks in if something happened that was negligent on the part of the district,
Okay.
right? This is more like a benefit to students or to athletes that is above and beyond whatever health insurance they have on their own.
okay.
So it's
Like
it's an added layer of coverage.
Right.
But accident insurance, unlike liability insurance, there doesn't have to be a negligent party or somebody at fault. This
Right.
is just for, things happen when you're.
So you roll your ankle on a mat in the gym at the elementary school, and you break your foot, and I'm speaking from someone I know, and I won't say
Right,
names.
yeah.
You break your foot. Now, if that person's family didn't have insurance, even though it's not a liability kind of situation, their family, sorry, I didn't mean to slam my hand, their family would then cover all costs, correct? So if they have a significant deductible or no insurance at all, don't,
What about, I mean, could this be, I feel like in the past, how this was handled before we started doing all of this, was that there was an option for folks to just purchase that. So is there an ability to be able to just say, athletes and non-athletes, here's this additional policy, you guys can purchase this, should you choose to purchase this, and then if they don't have insurance, they could choose to purchase it? What would that look like?
We still have the option to provide voluntary coverage if a parent and that's 24-hour coverage, not just school-sponsored, school-supervised activities. So we provide that just as a benefit. But the KHSAA requires you to insure your athletes up to $25,000. If you don't have somebody monitoring, checking that, making sure the parent buys the voluntary coverage, there could be a gap.
Right, but we could theoretically say, athletes, this is required, and it could just be part of your checklist. You have to have a physical, check. You have to buy this insurance, check. You have to pay your fees, check.
We could also calculate, as you know, we talked about previously, we could also calculate the cost, and then we could add that into the fee structure as well.
But how, is that going to be a barrier to students? Again, I think that, I'm going back to my previous conversation with the free and reduced lunch kiddos. There's a pocket in of our demographics, just like, Affordable Care Act. Your insurance, there's people that can have incredibly high deductibles that pay a very minimum monthly cost, but their deductible is so outrageously expensive that they can't afford certain things, right? It's going to be the same thing if you add a significant fee to an athletics.
I don't think, well, we need to calculate it. I'm sorry.
This also kicks in for co-pays and deductibles that fill in that gap.
So that's if you get the
cover all
extra,
students,
if you cover
or
all
your
students.
the way it's set up now, it will step up and fill in those gaps.
Well, and I also wonder too, how many families actually know this even exists? Because I don't know, like, is this something that our nursing staff say, hey, by the way, okay, so that's part of the policy. The other,
So it would be about $50 a student.
$50 a student.
So if their fees were waived anyway because of income, then they wouldn't have to pay it.
But those families, again, I'm looking at the families that are right above that threshold that still struggle to make ends meet significantly because our free and reduced families are covered because it's waived. But what about those that are just right there, that could be a barrier to them participating in athletics or an activity or something of that nature? To look at advocacy and
It sounds like our options are either we cover it from general fund.
Correct.
And so we can't use that money for, books or teachers or whatever, buses, whatever. Or we pass the cost along to them. Like, that's pretty much the only two options, right? Either they pay the fee or we pay the fee because it's required.
Yes.
Yep.
So-
KHSAA bylaw 12, section 2.
So what about the regular student insurance? What would that cost look like for families to pass that cost on?
That's not very much at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100, depending on which plan, it can be anywhere from $150, $350 per year annually.
I really think we need to let people know about that. If we take this away and choose option one, I think that is a much cheaper cost than.
Mr. Chairman, it sounds like that after we vote on the motion, that we might want to do some, I'll wait for a minute.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry. Sarah Ambrose, I didn't mean to.
So if looking at fee structures, it's about, so the $8,000 difference between the athletics or all school activities, it's about $8,000, so that'd be about $2 per student.
So it'd be $8,000 out of our general fund to cover all students versus.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful insurance organization, but just looking at all the budget conversations and looking at, where we are with the budget, my recommendation was to go just with athletics because of our budget situation. But again, I'll leave that to you all, so.
So the motion is approve option one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and it sounds like, Mr. Chair, Dr. Rabin, have you concluded your presentation?
Yes, Mr. Wilson.
Okay. It sounds as though that once this recommendation is approved, that we need to maybe do some communications, making people aware of the different options. But I would call for the question, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion. Can I All in favor of approving student insurance option 1?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you for coming
you
this
for
evening.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all for having me.
Can I have a motion to approve nursing services position?
So moved.
Motion by
Gonna
Mr.
say
Wilson.
approved.
Second.
Second by Ms. McCowan. And Mr. or Dr. Rayburn, have some information for us on that?
All right, board. So this is a position that we are looking to add. This position is funded majority through the Healthy Kids reimbursement that we receive. So through the Healthy Kids MOU that we have assigned through with Cumberland Family Medical Group, they have a 40-60 split. We pay 60%, they pay 40%. We were under the impression when we hired a nurse at South Simmons that they were covering all of the costs, and then we found out that that is not the case, that we are going to have to pay 40-60 still if it's their employee or if it's our employee. So instead of it being their employee, we are asking the board to approve this position. All of the costs will be done through that reimbursement anyways, because we are well exceeding our price for the cost of that nurse. And it allows for us to have a school district nurse instead of it being an outside agency nurse, so that they can follow the way that we practice our schools, so that they can see every student, not just the students that have assigned agreements like would be for Healthy Kids Clinic. And we have a little more wiggle room when it comes to what we can and can't do with them if they're our employee versus if they're their employee. So the cost is the same, whether we pay for them or they pay for them. We would ask the board to approve that position so that we can have that position.
Any question, Mrs.
Yeah.
Springate?
Just to clarify, so for some reason was under the impression that we would be adding an additional person. So are we not adding a person, we're just changing the way it's funded?
Technically, yes, because Healthy Kids they were paying for Simmons nurse.
So how many nurses will we have at Simmons after we make this
One,
vote?
just the one. Like no additional.
So what
So
happened
it's
to the
just-
position before?
The position was not paid, it was not under us, it was not paid
Okay.
for by us.
This
It
contract.
was their employee.
Gotcha.
So the salary cost doesn't change, it just, they become our employees.
Gotcha.
Which we have
And
no
in the
I
control and
misunderstood. I thought we were gonna
flexibility.
get an additional
And in
staff
the
because of the
past-
number
No, we
of people
haven't.
using it, so it still will just be the one staff.
Yep.
And do they have an increased caseload, or can one person like handle all of the Simmons nursing needs? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
It
you.
really was just a matter of the vacancy was there. It was whether Cumberland would fill it or whether we wanted to go ahead and take it back and do it ourselves.
And we were already paying for the cost anyways, it doesn't change
Yeah.
anything, okay.
And we had a question, one of our board members asked about the stipend for our nurses because they do the paperwork and everything with our nurse practitioner, and there is a stipend as well.
They'll keep the stipend.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
And we renegotiate that contract every year. So as our percentage goes up, the Healthy Kids Clinic reimbursement goes up as well.
So our percentage using it, is that what you're saying? Got it, okay.
Any other questions?
I think I do have one statement, I guess. I think the Healthy Kids Clinic partnership is amazing. I can't say that enough. I think that it is doing wonderful things. I do wonder at some point in time when we get so much use of the Healthy Kids Clinic, it does negates the capacity for a random visit, insert whatever that doesn't necessarily need. It takes precedent over
Sinus infection.
a sinus infection. Well, something that we would traditionally see a nurse for, right? So I hear kids saying, well, I put in to see the nurse, but it took so long to get there. And I've heard nurses saying I'm seeing they're triaging all the things that you would normally do in a medical clinic. And it's a wonderful partnership, but at some capacity, do we need to increase our nursing staff, even if we have a float, if we're getting reimbursed at the rate that it isn't a detriment to us, that maybe we have more accessibility for our kids, both for Healthy Kids, but also for maybe you don't need to see the doctor, you've got X wrong, a stomach ache that maybe you need to lay down for, or something like that, do you see what I'm saying? They get to the point where they say, well, I didn't get called today. I put in to see the nurse, but I didn't get called today. I hear that rhetoric quite often, not only in my own home, but from my kids' friends and other people as well. So and our nurses are doing a phenomenal job. I'm asking, do they need help at some point in time to continue this process? Does that make sense? That was a long-winded.
It makes sense to monitor it, just
Yes.
monitor how the case was monitored.
Right,
Sure.
right. Do they have the capacity to do all the things
And
that
I
they need
believe
to
you all are
do?
doing that, but it would be good just to share.
Yes. But I'm thinking that might be
process.
something that needs to happen down the road, if maybe they need some extra assistance.
Mr. Chairman, where are we?
We are
Voting.
ready to vote.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor of approving nursing services position?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Dr. Rayburn.
Can I have, he's not going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Can I have a motion to amend the 25-26 school year calendar?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan.
Newspaper? Sure you can. It's an old one. Maybe he's gonna do a trick.
I feel like there's a visual coming.
He's gonna make a puppet.
We're all in suspense. We do have a source of the paper here that might be able to share
Do
whatever.
you have some in your bag, Bob?
I'm trying, Dr. Jones. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you all for the excellent job you did on your, whatever you call it.
Oh,
Quick recall.
I think you should have subbed me out.
Our loss.
I couldn't understand
Our
2/3 of the
huge
questions.
loss.
Sure, I did like the fact that every question you answered was wrong, but every one you didn't answer, you had in your head was right. I don't know why you didn't.
I couldn't get the buzzy thing to work.
Hey, you carried us some.
We
though.
lost with grace.
We did.
Yes.
I think next year we should mix it up.
We need this, the math student
You
needs to
think
come
that
and
would
be on our
help?
team.
Yes,
That's all.
at a minimum.
Listen, I did the math problem and had the answer.
You're kidding.
Adam.
I can't believe you can do math. So next year you need to be on
Yeah,
our team.
you do.
I
I'll sub
can't-
you out.
can't do
Sub
any
you
of
out
the
for
math.
me. Math, there's no math in social work.
None of the math.
Never mind. I was trying to be like the Newsies, but I couldn't find the correct paper. Sorry.
Oh, no.
But the Woodford Sun did report what I'm about ready to share with you. Okay, that's what I was trying to share, that the Woodford Sun reported on our famous snow day that took out all of central Kentucky for whatever reason. We were lucky enough to not have an accident occur. So around 5:15 that morning, we checked the roads, we were fine, and then 15 or so minutes later, like Dr. Jones reported in her news article, the weather changed quickly. VPD was calling us. We were all on the phone trying to figure out what in the world can we get school in session, and it just came to the point where it wasn't a possibility. So with that being said, March 17th, the day that shall live in forever of 2026.
There'll be something worse.
Yeah, just it was not good. Requires us to make up that day. So the proposal for you tonight is to amend the 25-26 school calendar to remove the staff workday on April 13th, 2026, and make that a school session, in-school session day. To get started, I want to remind you of your board commitments, which is placing students at the center of every decision, ensuring every learner, regardless of background or identity, has the resources and holistic support needed to reach their full potential. In KRS 158.070 is the whole lovely definitions related to what a school calendar is and how many days we go, how many hours we're required to go, and that is a student is required to go at least 1,062 hours of instructional time for students delivered at no less than 170 instructional days, student attendance days. If a school district, so we'll stop there. So 170 days and 1,062 hours. I shared with you all in a video that I made for you after we sent the agenda item out, that when we run the report that shows, are we at 160 or 170 or are we at 169 if we don't take April 13th? That report that gets reported to KDE says we are at 169. We are not meeting the KRS that the requirement there. No matter how many hours or how many minutes or how many whatevers we do, we are 1 day short of that calendar because of that snow day. There is no way to do it. We have to make that day up. There is no legislation in there that is going to relieve us of 170 days that is close to being passed. So we have to take the action tonight to pass that 170 day mark, which would force us to either go on April 13th, May 19th, or June 1st. Those are our three options. So May 19th is election day. If any school in a district is used as a voting pursuant to KRS 117.065, the school district may be closed on that day. It says may, it doesn't require us. Days of the election and those days may be used for professional development activities, professional meetings, or parent-teacher conferences. So we can go to school on election day. That is a possibility. Northside is a voting precinct that requires us to have it open to the public from the time the 12 hours that voting is open. That means anybody and everybody can walk into Northside, and we have students in the building with an egress out that doesn't allow us to lock it down. That's not an option, sorry. I mean, you all are welcome to vote that, that's you, but we're not recommending that. The other one is June 1st, which is graduation occurs on May 30th. June 1st is a Monday. Kids going to school on a Monday, June 1st versus Monday, April 13th. We're gonna have a higher percentage of kids going on April 13th than we're gonna have on June 1st. So our recommendation to the board so that we equal 170 days is that we amend our 25-26 school calendar to make up March 17th, 2026 on April 13th, 2026. And that will put our last day of school still at May 29th. Now, that takes care of our students. We have some staff requirements as well because a classified and certified staff member have to make days of contracts and hours of contract for classified. So in order for us to make up that staff work day, we are proposing to the board to have that be a requirement to work election day. Staff can work that as they would any other staff work day. And then the remaining of the calendar would flow that was on the attachment. The June 1st would be the required professional development day, which makes up a snow day. June 2nd would be the closing or certified staff work day because we have two that we have to make up. And then closing day for staff would be June 3rd, professional parent-teacher conference on June 4th. That is our proposed agenda.
All right. I would just, one thing you said I wanted to point out, because I did get a lot of questions about this. 2 half days don't make an actual full school day. No. And adding 20 minutes to the end of the day, a certain amount of days, doesn't add or include a full school day. So right. We don't have the flexibility in our current schedule to do early release days or a certain number to make up that day. So just want everybody to be clear, that is something we're trying to address with the next agenda item. But currently, we can't do half days, extra minutes to get to that 170. We have to have a full day. So I just wanted to be real clear.
Just so the board is aware, we actually exceed the 1,062. So if that legislation for 170 days wasn't required, we wouldn't have to make that day up. We exceed that by 8 or so hours at one of our schools, and they go by the lowest attended school.
So I have a couple things. I too, I'm sure everybody got lots of responses and feedback from both parents and guardians and teachers alike. And I want to say I hear you all. I know that this is not ideal. I know that this is at the end of a very long break and people already have plans they've had in place for months. Some people just were anticipating taking that day off. I know that this is an important day for teacher development and mental health, and lots of things were relayed to us. So I just wanted to say I hear you all. I agree with the election day. The school safety is of most forefront, and I don't think that we could open. We have such a rigorous check-in process that why would we negate that for election day? I did talk to Dr. Jones and Dr. Rayburn about can we potentially move the polling place of Northside at some good time, because what are the other options that are not in a school building? I'm not a huge fan of a mass amount of people entering a school building without really cause to begin with, because of many different things. But I would love to see our, whoever takes Miss Sandy Jones' position or whoever is in charge of that, maybe having that as one of their priorities of looking at how can we move all of our polling locations out of our schools. So that way we do have election day as an option moving forward. The other thing that is of concern to me is, just to talk about our strategic plan and the commitment to our students. June 1st, let's be real, how many kids are going to go back to school? And I'm not so much worried about attendance as I am worried about productivity on that day, because at that point in time, diplomas are handed out, promotions are already done, and I feel like that the work can be more, or the educational experience can be better facilitated with this day. With that being said, I think it's a really rough situation, and I want to acknowledge that. I don't think it's fair to our educators that we have to be put in this position, but I also think that we're trying to remedy that with some creative calendar experiences with the next agenda item that we're going to vote on. So taking all that into consideration, I just wanted to say that will support the vote that I have. And I do want to acknowledge it's very challenging on both our educators and our families to have this late in the game switch, but I'm really glad that all of our kids were safe on March 17th or whatever day that was, because look at other counties, and we did a good thing. You all did a good thing. I did want to say, Dr. Jones, can you speak to the EHO option for that day for families?
Just as always, a parent note would be excused for the 13th, and also our principals have extended, if you guys vote for this, have extended the deadline for EHO's educational enhancement through tomorrow. So if you all are planning on not going to that day, those of you who are listening, please make sure you get your EHO in so you can have that day as counted as a school day.
I just would echo that I've had a lot of communication from different people about this issue. I think the school calendar is just something that we try to get ahead of. We try to do early. We try to make sure we have lots of things built in. So hopefully we'll be addressing that with the next agenda item. I will say that I would have preferred if we had, incorporated some sort of I don't know if we did or not, a survey with parents and also with our staff and our teachers before making, significant changes. I think that's always probably a best thing to do. That being said, I was asked to just share that the staff voted on this calendar, that was something that we incorporate with the calendar committee, and just that it's critical that they remain in healthy home work-life balance, and that, of course, our teachers work incredibly hard. And so the ask from the majority of the folks I talked to was having school on 6/1 as the best choice. That would be what the folks I talked to preferred. And I will say, I know that we have a certain number of days, I don't know how many, that you take your lowest attendance days, and those are not counted. So we do have those 5 days that should, 6/1 not be a wonderfully attended day, you would be able to not count that towards your AADA. So again, I realize it's not ideal, but I do think that, that's the option that most of the folks that have talked with me have preferred. And then we would just drop that day. That would be a drop day. So it could be a field day, it could be a whatever. And you're still doing some teacher days after that, and you're still doing some parent conference days after that. So that would be the preference of the folks I talked to.
Mr. Chairman, question, please.
Yes. Mr. Chairman?
I think
No, I just asked you to call the question.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All right.
Can I ask one more question? And it's not a discussion, I just have a question. The parent-teacher conferences after school year's closed, why are we doing that?
That is always.
So those are built into our calendars to give our certified staff members who partake in parent-teacher conferences, after-school activities. It is a flexible day for them, so it is not a required, but if they didn't do it during the school year, that would be a required workday for them.
So I understand like having that as a required workday, that's understandable, wrapping up your thing, but why are we doing parent-teacher conferences after the school year is closed?
We're
That
not.
doesn't really.
It's
We're
to
not.
give staff credit
Yeah.
for when
Yeah.
they have done parent-teacher conferences
So like
throughout the year.
when the
Oh,
students
okay.
do their student-led conferences in the evening at the middle school,
So
those
that's
middle
their
school
makeup
teachers, they have to be paid for that, so it's compensated on that June 4th date on our calendar.
So it's like a
It's a flex day.
flex day, gotcha. I would misunderstood, I'm glad I asked that question, because I was very
I did too.
confused as
Yeah.
why we were doing parent-teacher conferences after the fact, so thank you
Alright.
for explaining that.
All those in favor to amend the 25-26 school year calendar?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes 4-1. Can I have a motion to amend the 26-27 school year calendar?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson,
Second.
second by Ms. McCowan. Back to you, Dr. Rayburn.
All right, I want to go a little bit of history for you. The year we opened our high school, and when we moved from this building to the new high school, we gave 5 staff work days that year. The year prior to it, we had 4, and prior to that, we had a couple built in, but that was the year we really built the calendar to have work days around the breaks. So around fall break, around spring break, around winter break, so that staff members had the ability to come back and to use that. When we went to the high school, we gave 5 days so that the high school staff members had the ability to use a staff work day so they could move and transition between buildings. That calendar has remained since that time. So we still have 5 staff work days that are built into the calendar. The proposed agenda tonight is that we remove 2 of those staff work days to allow us the option in the future, if we get to this point again, to have one flexibility within our snow days to operate on a 2-hour, 1-hour, 2-hour delay, to start to bring back early release days in a strategic manner that we haven't had in a while, but have been well received for our students and staff, and our parents have been well received on certain days to have an early release, and then to incorporate those staff work days on those critical days that are around those breaks, so that a staff member doesn't have to give up their break to come in and work during the break. So on the agenda, on the screen you see here, we sent this survey out. We sent it out to our calendar committee, and then we also sent it out to staff so that they could give us their opinion on it. And this is convert the Friday, September 4th, 2026, which is currently a staff work day, to a student instructional day. 152 staff members took it. Everybody had the option to take it. 152 took it. And you can see blue, red, and orange are either neutral, no strong preference, all the way up to support. Green and purple are opposed. So over 75% around that point have either don't have a preference or support us converting that September 4th date from a staff work day into a student work day, or student instructional day. And the same thing for March 8th, 2027, which is currently a staff work day, taking that back into a student instructional day. The pie chart is the same on both of those. So our staff members that took the survey feel that they can make up those hours and make up that time. These 2 days specifically are not as critical as the 3 days that they still have built into their calendar around fall break, the Monday after fall break, the Monday after spring break, and the work day after winter break. Those 3 critical days are critical to our staff. And so this is providing us with this equal balance of we're able to give a little bit and take a little bit, but we're still able to maintain those longer breaks for our staff members and our students. Instead of having a longer 4-day weekend on Memorial Day, or Labor Day, we'll just have a 3-day weekend. The same for the March date. That's a required professional development day for staff members on that Friday. So students will still remain with a 3-day weekend instead of a 4-day weekend. And so that is our proposed, removing the September 4th, making that a school in session day, removing the March 8th, which is a school in session day, and then changing the last day of school to an early release day. This allows us to still meet that 170 mark by giving us extra days, but also giving us extra hours so that we can start to bring back in early release days. Like I said, that's a 2-hour release, so we get out of school basically on a 2-hour release schedule. And then we can start to incorporate those as we take them back to the calendar committee, see was it effective, do we continue this to bring them back. They haven't been around for the last 2 years because of the move and the shuffle, and so this is a way to reintroduce them in a way that is probably already an early release day. Let's be real, the last day of school, they're doing their attendance, they're doing their award ceremonies, they're doing the promotionals, and then they're going home already. So this would just allow that to happen. And it still meets our 170-day requirement and well exceeds our 1062 requirement as well. And then the snow days, adjusting that March 8th date to be a last day would become a regular school day if we made it all the way down that far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense to add more flexibility into our schedule. And, you know, we know there's 1, maybe even 2 days where the roads were terrible at 6 a.m. and by 9 a.m. the sun was out and we could have done a delayed start. But because of the way our current calendar is, we didn't have that ability, which a lot of people asked about that as well. This would give us more room to make those kind of decisions where, you know, we can get everybody in school even if it's a little late or, like you said, early release. So thank you for putting this flexibility in this proposal.
Yeah. And there's no guarantees that we can't do this again. We may have a horrible winter, but this, I guess I want to say this very carefully because there's no guarantees and knock on wood, right? But this will make sure that those staff days, work days on the back of breaks are protected, correct? Because I do think that is when we speak about mental health for our teachers, they do a very hard job, and I think that it's really important that we protect those things moving forward and put that in the forefront with the calendar committee as well. So,
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor to amend the 26-27 school year calendar?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 4-1.
Mr. Chairman, can I thank Dr. Rayburn for your presentation tonight? You're very good at anticipating our questions and giving us the information. Thank you very much.
it's almost like you know us.
Yeah.
All right, the last vote we have, can I have a motion to approve UK Clinical Practices Agreement?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wilson.
I
will second that.
I have a question.
Wait, you gotta.
I have a question. On that contract, it mentioned something about liability insurance. Does that mean that we have to pay for liability insurance, or is that the student and university's requirement to cover?
Well, we have liability.
So we are good. We're not, this is not causing any extra cost. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I'm just gonna recuse myself, so I just wanna put that out there.
All right. All those in favor to approve UK Clinical Practices Agreement?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0 with 1 recusal.
Thank you all. Have a good evening,
You
everybody.
too.
Thank you.
He motioned, I seconded. Yep. And then KT opened up discussion.
Yep.
All right, the last thing that we have for the regular meeting is discussion item. I just wanted to let everybody know, on the district website, at some point, the board members' emails fell off of that. A community member reached out to me and let me know about that. I think it was when they were doing some website design, but that has been fixed. So if you go to the school board website, to the board, you'll see our pictures on there, but also our email addresses. So if anybody needs to email any board members, that email address is on the website. So just wanted to put that out there. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So,
Motion by Dr. Gould, second by Ms. McCowan.
I'm on the books.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. And that concludes our regular meeting. And now I'm going to call to order the Finance Corporation meeting on March 30th, 2026, here at the central office. We have one regular agenda item, and that's to approve the minutes of the February Finance Corp meeting. Can I have a motion?
Oh, Adam, just note attendance for the record, if you would, please.
Oh, okay. There are 4 board members here in person. All right. Can I
Mr. Wilson is absent.
Yes. All right. Can I have a motion to approve minutes of the February Finance Corp meeting?
So moved.
All right. Motion by Ms. McCowan.
Second.
Second by Dr. Gould. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, motion by Ms. Springate,
Second.
second by Ms. McCown. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, everybody.